Welcome to my proposal presentation on the odd one out effect on culture and positive illusion by me, Saskia. How I came across my question. I was first reading through the lecture slides of my sociology class when I came across the concept of positive illusions, a mechanism of self-enhancement related to one's self-esteem, particularly one's self-concept. Then upon reading papers about it, I came across a gap in the literature. People are curious about how positive illusion can be manipulated. However, I quickly realized that many elements contribute to positive illusion, like context, another aspect that psychologists are calling for more research on. So I wondered how a person's group, social position, and context affects positive illusion and how it differs between cultures, because studies have made it evident that positive illusion mechanisms differ between people from individualistic and collectivist cultures. Literature review. Now I will discuss these influencing papers. The idea of positive illusions being overly positive self-views, exaggerated perceptions of control, and unrealistic optimism was first proposed by Taylor and Brown, 1988, in relation to it being a positive thing that helps mental health, enhancing well-being and esteem through reinforcement and resilience, productivity, social bonds, creativity, and motivation. In contrast to the previous work of psychologists like Higgins et al., 1997, on unrealistic optimism, which he linked to an increased tendency to experience negative events. More recent research suggests it's both maladaptive and adaptive, either linked to positive reinforcement or negative traits such as narcissism. Overall, psychologists argue about the mechanisms of positive illusions, calling for more research on how real-life situations can facilitate it. It's apparent that more research is needed, so we can explore the positive illusions application more thoroughly. Research could inform narcissism research and therapy, as Colvin and Bloch and Fonda, 1995, linked it to increased brittle defenses and poor social ability. As well, we could use this research to increase well-being in our communities, such as by facilitating healthy motivation towards academic pursuit, as Jinhan Kim 2013 suggests. I'm sorry that for any name mispronouncings I do suggest that. Anyway, she suggests that Western education could be encouraging harmful self-enhancement. Research is inconsistent, which is possibly due to perceiver/target confounds, Quonick L. 2008. So I will be exploring positive illusions can be manipulated in Western and Asian populations, specifically in relation to our differing stances within a group setting by using physical appearance. For example, identifying with the group or feeling estranged from it, the odd one out effect. This is based particularly on Hein and Hamura's 2010 work on how Eastern culture positive illusions is more present than in Western culture when they are comparing themselves to the average. I wish to challenge this, as well as Sedai Keats and Craig's 2008 work, which argued that self-enhancement is universal by showing how different people in the same physical situation can experience different degrees of positive illusion. As well, I wish to target these confounds of perceiver and target and fill the gap in our knowledge about how positive illusion presents itself in group settings, as I believe it can present itself similarly and differently between the two ideologies / cultural perspectives within different social contexts. Therefore, this research is novel because it combines and explores how physical appearance and culture affects positive illusion in group settings, which has not been explored altogether in previous literature, and it is worth researching as the results can help us to better understand mental health and well-being in social settings, and can help us to further study the implications of positive illusion in the future, like helping with the treatment of narcissists and victims of narcissism. My hypothesis, therefore, is that collectivist participants, when being similar to the members of their group, will show more illusion than individualist participants in a group of similar people. My secondary hypothesis is that participants, either collectivists or individualists, will experience less positive illusions when in a group where everyone is the odd one out. The method we will use to explore these hypotheses. Step 1 will be participant recruitment and condition division. Participants will be recruited online, specifically targeting participants from Western and Eastern universities, because they're an easier population pool to recruit. And similarly to Sakadaki's and et al. 2003 study, the country they originate from will label them as either individualistic or collectivist. They will specify in an introduction survey what culture they are predominantly identify with, along with some key physical traits such as skin colour, hair colour, and some misleading ones like height and nail polish colour. Participants then will be divided into groups matching their physical traits and ideology/culture. Participants within the groups will then be randomly assigned to 4 group conditions, task conditions, to counterbalance, thereby reducing the impact of biases within our results, making this a semi-quasi-experimental design. The conditions. The 4 conditions will be the odd ones out condition, the similarity condition, the all is different condition, and the no visible group condition, the control group. The odd ones out condition will be when the participant is assigned to a group where they are noticeably, visibly different from the entire group. The similarity condition will be that when the participant is assigned to a group where all the participants are similar to them. And the all is different condition will be when the participant is placed in a group where everyone is obviously different from each other. The no visible group is the control condition to ensure that we are measuring a significant change in positive illusion due to physical appearance within the other conditions. No participants are to participate in two conditions to make sure that there's no crossover or positive illusion between conditions. The groups of participants are assigned to will not be of other participants but of researchers, so that the same behaviour is exhibited in each condition group, so it doesn't skew the results. Stage 2, the task. After the survey, participants will be assigned to a time slot to be online at their device to participate in the task. The task will then be completed as a group. Will be a game of cyberball, similar to that conducted by Kipling et al. In the 2000s, which had participants participate in the cyberball game to elicit a social response that they could measure. I intend to use this approach too, but instead of measuring the effect of exclusion, I'll be measuring positive illusion towards the game and themselves by making it so participants are included in the ball game. Before the game, the participant will first be instructed not to talk to the other participants in the game, and to pass the ball as many times around the circle as possible. In the time frame by the instruction screen that appears before the task will then commence. A countdown timer and score will be kept at the top of the screen to introduce a level of difficulty to ensure the effort and care is taken by all the participants. In all conditions but the control, face cameras will be used, and the task will take approximately 15 minutes. Step 3. Measuring positive illusion. Once the time's up, the screen will go blank, and another screen will pop up asking that they complete a questionnaire identical to Robbins and Baer 2001 questionnaire. The first questions will be that the participant will have to rate how they thought the other participants and themselves contributed to how well they scored overall, from 1, most efficient, to 5, least efficient. Then they will be asked how they thought the other members would rank their overall contribution, from 1, greatest contribution, to 5, least contribution. By having these questions, we hopefully capture the extent of their positive illusion overall by computing the answers together. Hopefully get a positive illusion result that isn't just in relation to themselves, the group, or previous motivations, intentions, or past behaviour, by getting the participant to focus on the present within the group setting. The results will be computed by residual scores reflecting the discrepancy between self-evaluation of performance and mean peer or perceived peer evaluation of performance. Robbins and Beer, 2001, using Spearman's rank order correlation, as listed here, to compare the level of positive illusion between the conditions. Robbins and Beer, 2001. Discussion. What I expect to see. I hypothesize that this method will cause my hypothesis results because the knowledge that collectivist societies value working with and for people above individualist expression. I am assuming that decades of following these values will create a sense of comfort in the way that they are living, which will generalize to situations that are similar, regardless of the group's identity of being collectivist or individualists being known. As collectivist cultures stress conformity, as seen by their adherence to wearing similar clothing. So when put in similar groups to them, their positive illusion will increase as supported by their ideology. Whereas individualistic groups value individuality and self-reflection, which is reflected with their clothing again, so I assume that familiarity with this will mean that this idea will generalize to group situations where they are different from the majority, and therefore their ideology will consequently cause comfort, which will cause them to look more positively upon the odd ones out situation, and therefore themselves. However, I hypothesize that this effect of positive illusion will be nullified if neither is present. For example, an individualist in a group of individuals will experience less positive illusion because of the differences between them will become the commonality. Therefore, they won't perceive themselves as special, and their ideology and comfort with the situation won't support extensive positive illusion. Whereas collectivists will see the differences between them and it will lessen their comfort because of their ideology, and therefore it will lessen their positive illusion. As mentioned in my introduction, researching this will help explain the differences of results within the research of positive illusion by helping to explain the effect of previously explained confounds, as well as helping to explain how how social context through physical appearance within groups can affect positive illusion. By doing so, this research could be used to help explain motivation within schools, specifically within group projects or the presence of mandatory uniforms, and could help us to understand how narcissists differ in social situations if we elaborate on our research in the future to compare them to neurotypical people. Thank you for listening. Here are my references.